What is going on, guys? Craig 1287 here, bringing you yet another Betafield 4 video. This time I'm going to be looking at just an assortment of tips and tricks, things that I've noticed and thought that I would pass on. Some of you guys have probably noticed these things and already know some of these things, but I'm thinking quite a few of these have gone unnoticed by a majority of players. Let's get right into it. There's no real order to any of this, so let's get started. RPGs. When you're shooting these, the dumbfire RPGs, well, somewhat dumb, they can be locked on, but when you're shooting them as a dumbfire, they actually shoot up a bit vertically. Typically in Battlefield 3, the second you shot them, even if it was fairly close, you still had to account for projectile drop. But in Battlefield 4, when you shoot this, if it is pretty close, you almost want to aim right directly at the vehicle or what you're shooting at, or almost down a bit. Like if a tank is 40-50 meters away, you want to aim directly at the tank or maybe at the actual tracks of the tank, something like that. Depends on your elevation relative to the tank, but just pay attention to that. A lot of people are missing their shots and overshooting them because the RPG does go up a bit right after its initial launch. Moving on, transport chopper gunners, the two gunners on the left and right of the transport chopper, can pretty much aim straight right at what the pilot is looking at, dead center. So if you are the pilot and you can communicate with your gunners, tell them that, and tell them that, when you see other choppers in the air, that you're going to aim right at them, and if they aim, as far to the right or left, depending on their position to the helicopter, that they will be able to hit what you're looking straight at, and you guys will be an effective anti-air. You can take out attack choppers very well with this method, and anything in general. If you don't want, if you're on a map where there's nothing on one side for one of the gunners, you don't want them getting bored, then do that. Tell them that you're going to look straight ahead, and both will have fairly limited views, but everything that you guys shoot at is definitely going to die before it can get into cover because of the double fire that they're receiving. Moving on, friendly grenades are the only ones that you see now. In Battlefield 3, the grenades, friend and foe, had that orange glow to it, but in this one now, enemy grenades do not. So flak is a little bit more important, and paying attention to your sights and sounds of grenades landing and callouts for grenades are much more important. Got to pay attention to that. Moving on, battle pickups will be dropped if you toss your ammo bag or health bag or anything like that. So be very careful. If you pick up a good one, you take some damage. Don't try to heal yourself if you can, because you will toss away your battle pickup. Now moving on, after an RPG locks onto any vehicle, but specifically ground vehicles and tanks, this is the most important for them, you do get a little bit of a chance till it breaks the lock. You can aim up very quickly and then fire your RPG. This is going to send the projectile, the RPG, up in the air, and it's going to arch it to where it comes down on the vehicle rather than hitting it from the front, side, or rear like it normally would. And what this is going to do is have it deal a lot more damage because the tanks will take an increased amount of damage when hit from the top. This is true for any situation, but when you're locking on, you get that opportunity to hit them in the top if they are locked on. This differs, based on your environment around you. Obviously, if there's a roof too high, things like that, you don't want to do that. If there are any obstacles that might get in the way, then you might not be able to. And if it's way too far, the rocket will eventually even out, and it won't be hitting it from above if they're way too far off. If they're pretty darn close, within that 30-40 meter range, then the rocket will definitely be coming down on the tank and not even out with the ground in that range. So definitely try that, and you'll deal around 70-75% of the damage to the tank rather than just a frontal 20. Something like that. Now, you can no longer be revived if killed by a knife. So if you knife people, this is pretty darn nice. Not only are you preventing them from being revived, but there's not going to be a revive icon on their friend's medic screen. So that helps you to stay stealthy. You're not only not showing up on the mini-map for your gunfire, but you're not showing up on medic screens as to, hey, there's an enemy over here, because there's no lightning bolt icon showing up on those medics screens. So this is it's a much better stealthy device, and you are preventing them from getting revived, which keeps people from sneaking up behind you. If you move past them, they get revived, and now you got two enemies at your rear. That is going to be much reduced. Moving on, revives now happen when you release the mouse. Whatever your input is, you'll click the mouse or pull the trigger. That charges it. The more you do charge it, the more they'll revive with more of their health. But it's once you release it. I see so many medics trying to revive people, and they go up and click and then run off, and it's actually when you release the click. So people are releasing their click after they've gone past the person they want to revive. See a lot of people doing this, and a lot of people complaining in the team chat saying that revives are broken, they're not working, and things like that. So make sure you are getting it on your release of the defibrillator, not on the initiate of its use. It is on the release. And then moving on, you can now spawn in so many different ways. I don't know exactly how it works for consoles. I'm sure it works the same. It's just, you just got to cycle through what you're selecting. But in PC, you got that mouse. You can just click on their name, the squad members' names on the list that are toward the bottom left of the map spawn screen, or you can click on their location on the actual map or the flag point on the map. And then you can hit deploy, or you can hit enter to deploy on them. You can also just straight up double click. So this really helps to just simplify the process of spawning in, makes it a lot easier, a lot faster, a lot less hassle, and now they have added into Battlefield 4, you're going to have a lot less accidental spawns where you go to click and spawn on someone, they get killed right then and there, and you accidentally spawn back at the your deployment. Things like that are not going to happen. You'll see in the bottom left that screen that shows kind of a preview of what you're going to be spawning in on. That will change to text saying no longer available. So that is a great feature. So utilize that double clicking directly on the map as to where you want to go. That's really going to help you to find those specific spawns that you want to get, and not screw up by clicking on somebody else's name and then being in a different part of the map that you thought you were going to be going to. So definitely utilize that. And then finally, when you join on a friend, you join on them through battle log and things like that, it's going to put you in a squad with them. If they're in a squad of 5 people, it's going to pretty much boot them out and put you and them in a squad of your own. So, hopefully you're able to talk with these guys on Ventrilo, TeamSpeak, Skype, whatever it may be, so you can ask, hey guys, I'm coming in, and they'll say, oh, we got 5 already, just kind of go ahead and start your own squad. That way you don't mess up, the order of things. You don't want to, bring in all this chaos of, oh, did someone drop? Things like that. Try to remove that. Good communication. But the way this also works is at the end of a round, if you guys are not together, most often it is going to move you to be with the person that you joined on. So, if the server moves you around, if there had to be some auto balancing or something like that, or from the get-go there was auto balancing preventing you from joining on their team, now at the end of the round, it's going to move you if you don't do so, automatically during the actual round. So I hope all that made sense. I hope these tips and tricks kind of help you guys out and help you get a better understanding of the game. It's a very complicated game, compared to games like Call of Duty and things like that. There's a lot going on with like these airbursts and the way that all these mechanics work, and we only have just a little bit. We haven't even seen the way that the mortars are going to be used, and a lot of the tools that Recon has and things like that we just haven't seen yet. So this is just what I've come up with so far. I'm sure I will remember more things as I continue to play, and I'll try to jot them down on my phone so I don't forget to jot them down later and discuss. And if you guys have any tips and tricks of your own, please comment in the video in the video comments below, and I will check them out and add them to the next video that I do on this. And, we just got to get that information passed around. That's why I do this channel, is to help you guys, entertain you for sure. But I want to help you guys become better players, because That's, everybody likes to be a better player. You always got to improve. Hope you guys have enjoyed the gameplay and learned maybe at least one new thing by listening to this commentary. Hope you guys have enjoyed all of it. Have a good one. Ta-ta.